Kane, welcome to New York. How are you?
I'm good and tired. How you
Good
doing?
and tired. That's how it goes here. So you had an enormous year last year. You toured with Florida Georgia Line. You released your debut record. You're even on a headlining tour. But I think what's so awesome is that for a lot of people, it felt like you came out of nowhere. So I want to do like a little bit of a background, where you got started, how you got to Nashville, and all of that, if that's cool.
Yeah. So I was working at FedEx and Target,
Right.
and barely could afford a McChicken sandwich from McDonald's.
Right.
And then during my meantime, I was just putting covers on Facebook. And one day I put "I Don't Dance" by Lee Brice
Right.
on Facebook. Went to sleep that night, got up for work, and I had 700 friend requests. So I accepted all of them.
Right.
Had 800 more, and
Right.
then I just maxed out on Facebook, and just started growing a following.
Right. And so at some point, somebody's like, you need to set up like a singer profile here. And you can set up a Facebook in which you get fans instead of just friend requests constantly.
Yeah, but instead of doing that, I just used my personal
Right.
page. Yeah.
So I want to talk about that in a little bit, but I also want to go back to even when you fell in love with performing and rehearsing all of these things. You bounced around a lot as a kid, I know. Like, at what point did like music serve a purpose in getting you through all of that? Or like, when did you become attached to pursuing music?
I mean, like, I've sang my whole life. I was in choir and I was in plays and stuff, but I was always an athlete, so
Okay.
that's what I was going to do. So literally pursuing a music career only happened, or even thought of, 2 years ago, when everything kicked off
Okay.
on Facebook.
So we owe it all to Lee Brice that we get some Kane Brown music at this
Yeah.
point. That's awesome. So for a lot of country singers, this is not the way a career starts. You move to Nashville, you get a contract writing songs for other people, you hope a big artist cuts it, you sort of know the spiel. And it's just not been that way for you. And I think people love seeing a new way into the industry. Were you aware at any point that you were kind of forging a new path here?
No, I was doing,
Right.
pretty much everything that I've seen. Like, I've seen a bunch of viral videos, and I didn't expect it to happen. It just did. So
Right.
like, it wasn't nothing new to me. I've seen it happen before,
Sure.
but I guess not in country music. So
I think we all know at this point that social media is a double-edged sword. It obviously gets you a lot of friends and fans, but there's a lot of bad sides that come with it. There's mean commenters, there's a lot of bullying. How soon after you upload a video did you start to have to be like, I need to learn how to tune some of this stuff out?
after Lee Brice video, yeah. But I mean, it comes with it. I
Right.
go and look at a lot of other people's pages, and there's hate everywhere.
Of course.
Yeah.
There's also, it's important, there's more love than there is hate.
Oh, yeah.
But I was looking on your pages earlier today, and it's obvious that you have not stopped sharing personal things. How do you kind of balance that mentally? You've got pictures of your girlfriend, you've got your favorite sports teams, like you're kind of always sharing.
Yeah, I just feel like my fans are just so personal with me,
Right.
and that's what connects them with me. So I stop. I feel like they should know pretty much everything about me.
Right.
That's what helps them connect to my music.
Right. And I think that is a big thing on your debut record, which we can talk about, is so much of it is so personal, like you've got stories about your grandpa, about your grandma, about your mom's, your stepdad. Like we've got sort of everything on there. Was any part of you nervous putting out, stories about your stepdad, hurting you as a child?
Nah, I was more scared of about putting learning into country
Okay.
into country music.
Yeah.
Just because it's totally different than anything else that's in country music right now.
Right.
But country music's all about stories, and that's what I'm telling is my story. So
Right.
everything else that I said in that song with the child abuse, racism, all that stuff, I wasn't scared to say it just because I want to be a role model to a lot of kids growing up, and I feel like I can do that with that song.
I feel like there's got to have been a lot of people who have responded to you to tell you they've been through the same thing, and that's got to have built a pretty cool community for you in a different way online, talking about that stuff.
Yeah, it helps me a lot when people say that I've got them through stuff or I've
Right.
helped them out. Yeah, it means a lot to me. I'm excited. I can just help people.
That's awesome. I know some people who were pretty good help to you were the Florida Georgia Line guys. You were an opener on their tour last summer, and they wrote some of the songs on this album with you. What did you kind of learn from them going into this industry?
They're great guys. They taught me how to really perform on stage and
Right.
bring energy, and I'm still learning and trying to incorporate that. But they taught me how important it is just to be loved while you're out on the road
Right.
and not be lonely, and stay humble and always be motivated and keep working, and never settle for less.
Right.
And, you know, just they're great dudes.
Right. You posted on Instagram earlier this week about how, or maybe it wasn't this week, but you talked about how this past year it was really hard for you being away all the time. You know, that was kind of a dark spot for you, even though everything's taking off. You know, it's hard to stay balanced at home. How are you working on that, or who are you kind of reaching out to talk about that kind of stuff with?
Well, before it was, you know, we did 200 dates
Right.
in 2016, and then
Only country music would ever do 200 dates, you guys.
and then you know, we were coming here and we were going to Cali and just doing a bunch of interviews and
Right.
everything, and we, you know, like you're away from your family,
Right.
and you know everybody needs to feel love. So, like I had, you know, I'm not gonna lie, there was many girls hitting me up, and I found the right one,
Yeah.
and you know she helps me out a lot, and she keeps me sane, and she puts the light back in my life.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Another way, when you were first getting started, I know you auditioned to be on the X Factor. And I'm pretty sure that the reason that all kind of came to an end, they wanted to put you in a boy band.
Yeah, they want to put
Okay.
me in a country boy band.
Okay. But I mean, you're young now. You were even more young then. You're talking about producers who have put together bands like One Direction. How did you stay committed to saying, I don't want to do that
I just said no.
immediately?
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't fit the script. If I don't know, if you looked at me and you looked at them, it was like nah.
Right.
So I just, you know, I decided I was just gonna keep going. Whatever happens, happens. God has a plan for me, and it worked out.
That's awesome. So you moved to Nashville and you used Kickstarter actually to fund your first EP. How did you kind of promote that, or did anybody kind of point you in that direction? They say, you know, you can do this on your own without a label.
Well, I mean, I had other people that would
course.
comment on my Facebooks and everything, and then there was some. I forgot who's the one that told me to do a Kickstarter. But yeah, we did it, and it worked, and we got our EP out there, and
Right.
we got fans' new music.
One of the songs that took off was Used to Love You Sober. I'm curious, you know, when you started realizing that people wanted to hear your music as much as your covers.
Well, they were just posting like, we want to hear your music,
Okay.
and then there was a bunch of haters getting on there, and they were like, yeah, you can sing so and so songs, but
Sure.
can you write your own music?
Right.
So I was like, okay, I'm gonna show y'all,
Right.
and we wrote "Used to Love You Sober," and that's when everything really took off.
Right.
I remember I went in my bathroom and cried.
You did?
Yeah, it went #1 on iTunes, and that's when Nashville kind of started noticing who I
Right.
was, and it was an exciting feeling.
How soon after you dried those tears did you have record labels calling you?
A week maybe.
And you've obviously found a home with Sony, and then at what point did you, I mean, you're talking about then you get on one of the biggest tours for Georgia Line, you're doing your own dates. When did you even have time to put together an album?
Luckily, we started. I was writing before I went out with FGL. Once I got out with FGL, I wrote maybe 5 times, and it was
Right.
with them. But yeah, before I got all my songs before we went out on tour with them.
So that record is now out, Kane Brown. You can see this cover right here. When you thought about, obviously, anybody getting to put out a record, it's kind of like, do it all you can right now, because this might not happen again. Like, what was your goal for this collection that you had to get on here?
Just my life. I just wanted people to, you know who I was and hear my story and hopefully gain some fans out of it. And
Right.
People could just relate to my songs.
I guess I want to talk about a little bit about the relating to your songs. Like, you do have so much personal material out there, and most of them you wrote on your own. Where did you learn how to put your experience into an actual song format?
Honestly, the first song I ever wrote was in a garage in Georgia.
Okay.
So I guess I started there.
Okay.
And then once I got to Nashville, just the writers in Nashville are so talented and they're just so helpful. And I pretty much just, tell them stuff I've been through, and
Right.
they kind of help me write it. And I've just learned a lot from them.
You write with Chris Young a lot. He has obviously had a great success on his own as a singer and a songwriter. What is something that you've learned from either his career or his process that you've kind of adopted into your own?
Chris is just a great songwriter, and he's so humble, and he's just a great dude. We haven't hung out to an extent to learn a lot from him. I just got on the Jason Aldean tour, and
Right.
he's the middle act. I'm
Right.
the opener, so I'll learn a lot from him and Jason once we get out on the road. But right now, we're just connecting friendships.
That's awesome. When you think about getting out on the road with Jason Aldean, what are you most looking forward to? I mean, those are going to be some of the bigger crowds that you could ever have, especially in country music.
I'm just going to be watching like a little kid.
Yeah.
I'm excited. He's got 20-something number ones, and I've took so much away from Florida Georgia Line. I can't wait to see what I take away from Jason.
Talking about balancing, how did you go from warming up a stage in an enormous arena to then your own headlining dates? Like, what is it like to kind of balance both sides of those crowds?
It's weird and
Sure.
it's cool at the same time, just because, I feel like every musician's dream is to play arenas.
Sure.
So it's awesome just getting to go out there. You got this long walkway and you get to just have fun.
Right.
And then you get to your own headlining show and it's your fans all in a room together. It's not anybody else's fans.
Right.
So it's cool. It's a lot smaller room, but the smaller rooms it's a lot more fun with the interaction with the crowd that you get.
So you're from Chattanooga, or that's where you lived for a long time. Who is your hometown crowd outside of Tennessee, like in America? Where's your favorite city to play right now?
Right now, I just played Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
And I think it took the top of the chain.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I can't leave it. I love Alabama, Indianapolis, of course, Chattanooga.
Yeah.
And there was Michigan.
I've heard the Michigan fans are good, and that's awesome. When you're thinking about these people's careers who you've gotten to witness now, Florida Georgia Line obviously broke out huge and has been huge since they got there. You're going to be out with Jason Aldean, like you said, 20 number ones. Is that a size career that you want? Like, is that the end game goal for Kane Brown?
I don't set goals just
Okay.
because I don't want to let myself down.
I like this philosophy.
Yeah, but I just like I said, I feel like God has a plan, and whatever that plan is, He'll make it happen. But I would love to have 20 number ones.
Right. Right. Your new single's What Ifs with Laura and Alaina, who most of us know from American Idol, but you know her from way back when. You guys went to high school together, I'm told?
We went to middle school together.
Okay.
I was in choir with her, and then once I got to high school, I ended up moving, so
Okay.
we didn't get to stay together. But yeah, she's convinced me to start singing.
Okay.
And then she went off to American Idol, and she killed it. And once I get to Nashville, I'm gonna have to do a song with her, and
Right.
it's my next radio single.
Right. So when did you guys start actually discussing about getting in the studio, writing together, any of these things?
Well, I begged her many times, and then one day we just got done writing What Ifs. I was in the studio about to record it, and we needed some background vocals, and I was like, let me call Lauren and just see if she'll do it. And she came in and just added a whole nother level to it, and so I was like, I have to keep you on this.
Right. That's awesome. So the debut record is out. You've had major tours. You've had line tours. When you look forward to 2017, what's kind of what you hope to see happen next for you?
Right now, I'm just trying to work on getting on radio.
Right.
We've been on radio before, but I'm trying to get in that top 10 chart area.
Right. Right. Is it kind of weird? I mean, you've gone number one in multiple categories now on iTunes. To find a home on radio, it's been a little bit more of a fight.
Yeah, it's just country radio is just so loyal,
Right.
To the labels, and it's so hard to break into radio, and that's just what we're trying to do. And you got to respect them.
Right.
And this is what we're trying to get in there.
When you think about all the things that have even so far happened for you, and it happened so quickly, what was the biggest pinch me moment where you were like, I think that this could be a career, this might work out for me?
It was after Used to Love You Sober. That's when I really thought this could be my job. But I guess with the album debuting number one,
Right.
It hasn't really hit me yet, but it was the biggest debut in the last 2 years for new
Right.
artists in country. So
Since Sam Hunt, right, in 2014.
yeah. So I was, I'm super excited about it, and hopefully it just continues.
When people tell you stats like that, I mean, also it's one of the biggest debuts of any genres of the last couple of years. What do you think it is that's kind of working? Like, what do you think that you're sticking true to, or what nerve are you hitting that is really motivating people to get out there and buy this music?
It's just my fans. My fans are crazy, and I love them. I forgot the other day, a radio guy said he calls them the Caniacs.
Okay. I was going to say, do you guys have a fan base name yet?
Yeah, well, we have this thing called the KB Squad and the Kane
Okay.
Train, but I kind of like Caniacs.
Yeah, maybe you'll consolidate all into one at some point in 2017. We are going to take some fan questions right now.
We're going to start with a question from an online viewer. So Rachel would like to know, what is one thing you've learned about yourself after growing in success as an artist?
I've learned I'm very competitive.
Okay.
Yeah, very competitive and always trying to move forward. I never want to settle for less.
So what sports did you play? Because I imagine this is where you learned some of your competitive edge.
I played football, basketball, baseball, and I ran track.
And which one were you thinking, this is what I want to kind of make happen?
I had a D1 scholarship to play basketball.
Okay. So he's competitive. What else do we have?
Hey, Kane. So I was wondering if your family, how much support did they give you in your career and when you decided you wanted to pursue it?
Well, my mom used to sing to me all the time, and they always thought I was going to do something in sports. And once the music started off, I don't think they understood the social media part of it. I'd be like, I got this so many likes, and they were just like, cool. But after they started coming to my shows and seeing that we had actual fans, they started crying. So it was cool. They were super excited for me.
Hey, Kane. What was the most challenging song to write?
The most challenging song probably was Learning, just because it's got a rap verses, and it's totally different than anything in country music, and it was probably one of the most hardest things to put out. But I was like, country music stories, and this is a story. And the chorus is very country, so why not be different?
Where did you kind of get, I think that's a big thing too that we talk about with country radio. Where do you get the confidence to still do these very different sort of melodies and rap style singing and all of this stuff?
I got my fans, and they're so loyal to me, and I'm so loyal to them. I don't think that they'll go anywhere, and I hope they don't go anywhere. So I mean, as long as they're still loving the music, and I can't really change it.
I like that.
Hi, nice to meet you.
How you doing, dog?
I was wondering, do you think you'll ever evolve into a different genre or trying different genres of music later on?
I don't know, maybe. I mean, I love all kinds of music, like anything really. So, I mean, if that certain song comes along and it's a good enough song, and some other radio station wants to take it, then I'm not gonna say no.
Hello. Personally, I love when two different genres mash up. I was wondering if there's any artists you want to collab with outside country.
I would like to collaborate with Ariana Grande. Not singing wise. No, I'm just kidding. No, I just saying she's cute, but she's got a crazy voice too, though.
That's true.
Yeah, or Selena Gomez.
Both good voices.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's all we have for today. Kane, thank you so much for stopping by.
You.
You can get Kane Brown on iTunes, Spotify, everywhere.
Great. Thank you.